Studying the Word of God can be difficult. One of the easiest ways to study the Bible is one verse at a time, but at times it can seem overwhelming. Our goal in this podcast is to wrestle with the text and dive in deeper. We pray that this edifies you and empowers you to fall deeper in love with the Bible and Jesus. Welcome to Everyday Theology.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Everyday Theology Stories. We are your hosts, John Muth and
Mike Newhart.
Mike Newhart. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a while since we've been here.
Yeah, it has.
But it feels good to get back inside.
Honestly, I have no excuse. I have no good excuse.
Well, I don't either.
We kept trying to get something on the calendar and
just never happened.
It just never happened.
But now we're committed to more often.
Yeah, sure.
We don't know what that looks like yet, but
sure.
At least more than once every 8 months.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
8 months.
I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah. So let's shoot for 7 months.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That'll be better.
Whenever 7 months is from now. So today we are going to interview Terry Brotherton. Terry has been part of this church for a while. Actually, we'll let you hear it from his mouth. But Terry's a dear friend. He's an elder at our church and just an all around good guy. I think you're really going to be blessed by his story because we were.
Yep,
we were blessed
absolutely.
by his story.
And he's just a good, relatable man who is really interacting and wanting to interact with other men from our church. So it's awesome to see.
Yep. All right. So without any further ado, here's our interview with Terry Brotherton.
Enjoy.
All right. We're here with Terry Brotherton. How you doing, Terry?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks for joining us on our Stories podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So we'd love to hear from you, but and some of your story, especially specifically how you came to Christ. But before we get into that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you a Mattoon native? Where are you from?
No, I'm from Robinson, Illinois, just southeast of here, and was born and raised there, and lived most of my life there. But then I started traveling, and
you're a world traveler?
Yeah, well, not a world traveler, but a continental United States traveler.
Yeah,
went to Las Vegas in '87 and spent 10 years there.
Okay,
and then moved to Florida for a couple of years, and then to Texas for a couple of years, and then now I'm back here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Were you moving just because of your job, or just choosing to live in different places?
Yeah, it was job related.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, it was your move here job related too?
No, I come back to take care of my mom and dad. And,
oh, okay.
And my wife's mom and dad.
All right. And who's your wife?
Rhonda Brotherton.
Rhonda. I love Rhonda.
Is she from Mattoon?
No, she is actually from Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh,
originally.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She moved here from Montgomery and went to. She was in my same classes as I was in high school.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long have you been married to Rhonda?
20 years.
20 years.
We met.
You're beating me and Kristen. You win.
We met
just barely.
We met at our fourth year class reunion.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We.
Did you know her in school? Because Robinson's not that big of a school, is it?
No, it's not that big. We knew each other, but like I tell her, she didn't give me the time of day when I was in school. Of course, I was going out of town to see girls too.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when is the point that? So I want to talk about when is the point where you can look back and go, this is when I started following Christ. I know that there's a lot of ups and downs in our walk, in our journey, but when is the point where you said I'm following Christ, and then maybe talk a little bit about your life before then, and then share with us, what difference has Christ made in your life after that?
Okay. Well, I started following Christ when we got married, actually.
Oh, yeah?
When Rhonda and I got married, yeah.
So she was a missionary dater.
Well, she was one
missionary dating.
Yeah. She said that I had to have God in my life to marry her.
Really? Had you had any desire for God up to that point?
A little bit.
Yeah.
My first wife was Catholic, and I went to church, but I didn't. Nothing soaked in. Nothing really happened there. Yeah. Didn't believe in a lot of things that they were speaking of, and I was never churched in my kid life, my younger life.
Okay.
And it wasn't until my dad was, about 2 years before he passed, I found out that he had been baptized, and then there was a problem in the church, and he walked away from the church, and so I was never able to see the youth camps and stuff like that.
Oh.
But I did go to
Youth camps are great.
I know.
You want to come with me to camp this summer?
Well, maybe.
You get top mug.
Yeah.
Family camp for sure.
I hate the top mug. You can have the top. I'll help you up.
You're right. So anyway, I met Rhonda. I was in Texas at the time. She was up here and working at college. And I started going to church down in Fort Worth myself, and just to get a taste of it. And it wasn't until we moved back here that I become a believer and was baptized in 2006.
Okay.
And
awesome.
We were going to First Southern Baptist here in Mattoon, and I was getting fed, but I wasn't getting fed enough. So we moved here to Broadway, and things have changed my life here.
How long have you been part of Broadway?
8 years now. I came just before Ian did, and
I meant to ask you too. What are you in? Before we get into more of your story, what are you in? What are some of the things you're involved in here? I know that you lead some ministries.
Well, I work 20 hours a week here as maintenance, and then I'm an elder now here.
And how long have you been an elder?
I
know it's
3 years, I believe.
It's longer since before I was here, right?
4.
Okay, then it's been 4.
Yeah.
So I've been here more than 3.
Right.
Okay.
And I've read more books and read more Bible than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
I finished my first book here, and that was the very first book that I ever finished.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Through high school or anything.
Really? Oh, that's
fun. I used to read the front and back.
Oh, that's great.
Of a book to make a book report in high school.
Hey, if it works.
Yep.
And you're also involved in our men's ministry here.
Men's ministry, yes. I'm heavily involved in men's ministry.
You started up you and some other guys started back up our men's breakfast.
Yeah.
Post-COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
And
you coordinate all that.
That's where my heart is in the men here.
Yeah.
At Broadway, and I hope to grow it even more if I can, with a lot of help.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit? So before Rhonda delivered her ultimatum,
Yeah.
follow Jesus or else.
Yep.
Or else I'm out. Is that how it went?
Yeah. No, not really. She said I had to have God in my life to have her in my life. So,
I love that. That doesn't always work. I wouldn't recommend missionary dating.
No.
Find a believer.
Yeah.
To be with. But hey,
yeah,
there are stories like that.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about pre-Jesus Terry.
Well, like I said, I traveled for my work and moved a lot of places. Went to Las Vegas in '87 and found out that it was a wild life out there.
What did you do for work?
I worked, it was construction when I first got out there. And then I went, I worked for Circus in security for 5 years.
Really?
And that was an eye-opener. They dealt with everything that the police department did there. And we dealt with gangs and stuff like that. And I was gambling. I was drinking. A lot of times I'd go to get my paycheck on Friday, and Monday I tried to find out where I was going to eat next. And then I, a lot of times driving late at night or early in the morning after gambling all night long, I thought that the center medium looked pretty tasty, but I didn't. God had a hand in that because he's pulled me through a lot of stuff that I should have been gone.
How old were you when you first moved out there?
I was 30, 32, 33.
All right, 87. We can do the math.
Yeah,
Find out how old you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm 69
You're
years old.
93. I'm good at math. Terry's 93.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
No, I'm 69, soon to be 70.
Soon to be 90. Soon to be 96. That's how that works.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. And then I went to Florida, loved it there.
Yeah.
Loved it down in South Florida where I lived in Cape Coral, Fort Myers Beach, and wasn't as wild down there. Back up a little bit. I did go to AA or Gamblers Anonymous (GA) out in Las Vegas, and I learned to from that. I learned that I could go in a casino and not gamble, and that's that was a big thing. I could still work in a casino because I did, and
When you did security.
yeah, when I did security there, and it was a changing life because I had more money than I thought I ever would have there. After I quit gambling. And to this day, I can do that. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I can go into a casino and eat and see a show or whatever, and not my oldest daughter still lives out there, so, and sometimes I go out there and visit with her and the grandkids and the great grandkids. But I have two daughters, and they're grown adults, and they live Tucson, Arizona, and Las Vegas.
Okay.
So then I moved to Florida, and then back to Texas for a job, and I stayed in Texas, and that's when I met Rhonda, and then we moved back up here to take care of her parents.
Yeah.
Because they were still living, and her dad's still living here in Robinson, and we just needed to take care of them, and because they were getting up there in age, and Dad had dementia, and
It's hard. So tell us a little bit about. So you came to Christ. Was that when you were? That was when you were in Texas?
No, actually, I came to Christ when we moved back up here.
Okay, so that was at the Southern Baptist Church.
Yeah, and the reason I went in to talk to John, the pastor out there, I needed some place to start in the Bible, to read the Bible, and that was my first question out there was, where can I start to read the Bible? And he showed me he pointed me to the New Testament, and I started reading the New Testament. And during that meeting, he asked me, he says, well, are you ready to accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior? And I said, it took about 2 seconds. I said, yes. And so he led me in prayer, and 2 or 3 weeks later, I was baptized.
Cool.
There. And it happened that quick. And I didn't read a lot out there. Didn't read any books out there on theology, but I was in the Bible.
Yeah.
And praying, and it was refreshing.
Yeah.
It was refreshing to me.
What a great question to ask too. Like, where should I start in the Bible? My wife had a girl recently approach her and say, if I'm going to start reading the Bible, my wife was explaining to her the Old Testament and New Testament. She's like, so if I go to the bookstore, which one should I request first? I get the New Testament or the Old Testament?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, my wife's like, just ask for the Bible. That'll work.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started reading before I asked that question, and I was getting lost in the genealogy and all that,
Yeah.
and it was a little boring at the time. The genealogy is, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I I just needed more meat, I guess, than what I was getting from the genealogy, and so I did, but then when I moved here, I started. Well, I was asked to be an elder by Ian, and the first question I asked him was, "Well, I've been divorced, and out at First Southern Baptist, I couldn't be an elder or a deacon, is what they called them out there. I could serve as a trustee,
Yeah.
and that was okay, and I did, and when I came here and Ian asked me that, he addressed that for me, and I was okay with that after he addressed that for me.
Yeah.
And so then I started reading books.
So what was the first book you read? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
The one you finished? The first book you finished?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't remember that.
Come on, you should have that framed.
It was one of the required readings
was it?
of
the elders?
of being an elder.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You didn't just read the front and the back?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
no,
that's
I did
good.
not. I got into it, and
I'm gonna bring that up a lot with you, just so you know.
I really dug into it.
Yeah.
And I really studied it.
Yeah.
I'd never studied anything.
And that's such a good point that to make that all you need is the Bible.
Yeah.
We don't need, like, in this room we're surrounded. You can't see it off camera. We're surrounded by books.
Exactly.
In this room, but these are. There's people, faithful Christians who know the Lord and love the Lord in all over the world that they don't have access to these in their language, or they don't even have. Some don't even have access to a full Bible. So I think that's amazing that how God works through His Word, but and there's so many good resources. Don't use that as an excuse to not read.
Yeah.
That right. If you have access to, we have access to 2,000 years of church history, and so many helpful books. Some that are not helpful,
right?
Many that aren't, but yeah, that can really enrich our faith and our walk with the Lord. So, are there any other ways you want to share that just following Christ has changed you?
Just working with men, working with godly men.
Yeah,
that's an important part of my life. I have to be surrounded by people, by Christian people, and a lot of and that's one thing that I would suggest: be, if you're going to follow the Lord, be surrounded by godly people and godly men. We have a breakfast every Saturday morning here, just men only.
7:30.
7:30 enter through the back door here, and we talk about God things.
Yeah,
and we have good discussions that really touches a lot of men here. And,
So,
I don't think you can overlook that, because you know as well as I do with the drinking and the gambling and all things men, it's easy when you surround yourself with those types of men to get caught back up into it.
Oh, yeah.
So we thoroughly need to surround ourselves with like-minded Christian men that are looking for the same outcomes that we are in life.
Yeah. That's right.
It's the shift in thinking to see the church as, and I think our consumer society has a lot to do with this. That we look at church as another thing on our calendar. That, like, if I have time for it, I'll go to church. God never intended the church to be that way.
Right.
God intended the church life to be life. Yeah. I know that's easy for me to say because I'm a pastor. You should all come to church.
Yeah.
But man, God has wired us that way, to need relationships and to need godly men and women in our lives surrounding us. And children that are growing up here, they need godly influences.
Absolutely.
From us.
Yep.
And what a gift and a responsibility at the same time, and purpose that God gives us.
Yep.
And it's neat to hear people talk about that and just their love for the church, because that's something that's not, I would say that's not exactly natural. That the Holy Spirit, when we follow Christ, he gives us a love for him, because we just choose our sin, and we still do. But he causes us to love him and to love his people and to love his word.
Yep.
And those things aren't exactly natural to us because of our sin.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I guess you got to give a big shout out to Rhonda too.
Oh, that's what I was getting ready to say. If it hadn't been for her, I don't know where I'd be today. Financially, just and other things too.
Yeah.
I just don't know where I'd be without knowing her and to understand what she was talking about when she first told me that I needed God in my life, to have her in my life.
Isn't it crazy how great a good wife is? I look at my wife sometimes, and she's the one that I don't want to say that she kind of just has helped my growth, but she really has. And I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
why wouldn't you want to say that?
As we all are. Well, yeah.
Busted. I'll edit this part out. He didn't mean it, Jessica. He didn't mean it.
I was trying to figure out the words, how to put it, but yeah, I'm just very blessed that she's been part of my life, and as patient as she is, just like Christ with me, just patient.
Yep. That's for sure.
I think of Christ talking about not being unequally yoked, and that's not just about marriage and relationships. That's just about all relationships that we're walking together. That's a picture, I think, of the church, that we're keeping in step with each other, and we're helping each other to keep plowing forward. But that's especially true in marriage, I think, and that's been the experience of Kristen and I, and we've helped each other grow so much. So
I hope she could say the same thing, that she's helped me, or that I've helped her grow.
I bet she would.
And I think she would.
She's not here, so let's speak for her.
That's right. That's right.
She loves you, Terry.
Yeah. We do love each other. We do love each other, and it's all in God's hand.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So one more quick question. I want to know, again, thinking about pre-Jesus Terry and post-Jesus Terry. We read in Galatians about the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Have you seen God cultivate those in your heart?
Yeah.
And in your life? So I didn't know you until 3.5 years ago. So I would say that you exhibit the fruit of the Spirit, but
I want
to know what you think.
I was very impatient. I've become a little more patient now. Not there. I'm not there at all.
But when you are patient, you're like, man, that must be the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that sure is. I love people.
Yeah.
I love our church.
Yeah.
And it's that has grown from this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Patience, I guess, is the biggest thing, and I've learned to be at peace with things. When my mom and dad both died, I was at peace because I knew where they were going, because I was witness to mom being sprinkled in a hospital by our former pastor, and so I was at peace at that, and it hurt, of course, losing family members. But my brother, he was killed in a hunting accident back in '73-4, and I had trouble with that because I didn't have God in my life. He did. He married a woman down there in Montgomery, Alabama. He was going to school down there, and I wasn't at peace at that, but I am now, because I know where he is and what I'm looking forward to seeing when I pass this world. So
yeah, that's
awesome.
good. Yeah. Anything else you want to share? Anything we missed?
I don't think so. Probably.
Anything you want to ask?
I don't think so.
That was a whirlwind life there, but
Well, I'm sure. I know we barely scratched the surface, but I've just appreciated being here. I mean, you're also kind of my neighbor.
Oh yeah,
I live down the street.
Yeah,
and my wife and I we love you and Rhonda, and we're very thankful to have you in our lives.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have our.
I mean, you said you love people and you love our church. That's evident.
Yeah,
and it's really cool that. And what other place? What other place would we be? Because Terry, I mean, we work together, but you're my friend.
Yeah.
Like, what other environment would we be? Would we be good friends? I mean, you're 96.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I know, but what a beautiful picture of what the church is.
Oh yeah.
And what it's for, and how God uses it in our lives.
That is for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right. And you and I have talked about that a lot. We wouldn't be friends outside of the church.
Yeah,
you're such a dork. Whatever.
It's
Maybe
true.
I am.
It's true. But all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in.
It was a pleasure.
All right.
Appreciate it, Terry.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
That was our interview with Terry Brotherton. I just love that guy.
I do too. And I didn't know a lot about him, but his story, I can resonate because I have dealt with a lot of the same issues that he's dealt with.
There's a lot of things I work with the guy. I mean, he's worked here longer than me, and we're pretty involved in each other's lives, and there's a lot of things I didn't know.
Yep. Very relatable.
Yeah. That's cool. So I hope that I was encouraged. No, you were encouraged. I hope that for those of you who are watching or listening, we're encouraged. Sorry, we've been pretty inconsistent with our story podcasts, but man, I think we're both kind of pumped.
Yeah.
After that,
this was a lot of fun. We're gonna do more of these.
So yeah,
more often.
Yep.
So
all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again.
Sounds good.
All right.
See ya.